Hello, everybody. We are here with the Traitors OCG podcast for episode 8, the second to last episode of the season. I'm here with Fan Guy Meg, Alex, Janessa, Rita, and y'all know I like to start with ups and downs. So give me your biggest down. Actually, no, give me your biggest up first.
Mine is Lori.
I second that.
Yeah, I'll agree.
I'm gonna say Raven, even
I'm
though I don't think
gonna say
she's gonna last
Raven.
very much longer.
Yeah, Raven's my up this round.
How about biggest down?
L.
Yeah, I would give it to L too. For sure.
Same.
I'm not
Yeah.
giving it. I'm not giving it to L. I think she's gonna handle this well. This is gonna be a. I'm torn between Dar and Jason. I'm gonna say Jason just for pure spiral.
Well, let's start at the beginning. It was no shot for Lauren to stay when everyone's voting against her except Dar. Meg, do you have anything to say about Lauren's final moments in the game?
I like that she left her mark on Anthony before she went out. I feel like when you know that you have no chance of staying and you know there's no redemption, the best thing for you to do is take somebody else out with you. And I think she did a good job because he immediately started spiraling after that immediate spiral, and I was here for it. So good job to her.
Any other comments on Lauren?
I was a Lauren fan from the beginning.
I was
Oh.
sad to see her go, but like Meg said, I was very proud to see her, doing what she needed to do before she went out. So yeah.
Yeah, I felt bad. Lauren had no chats. There was like the writing was on the wall, and she just she handled it pretty well, honestly. I mean, she deserved to be a pretty short with people. If there was no hiding it, and I think her sussing out Anthony is the right move, just because Anthony was so hard on her. Like she was good on figuring that out, who was the one driving this vote. So even though she's wrong, it doesn't matter. Like Anthony torched her game, and so she had the right to bring it back on him.
Yeah.
Love that they all immediately after she got voted out, though, in all their confessionals, they're like, I didn't think Lauren was a traitor.
Yeah,
it wasn't me. I knew she was a faithful. I didn't think that. I'm like, come on.
Which is why it was so beautiful that she pushed it back on Anthony, because he was the one who was pushing it on her in the first place. She wasn't a traitor. She wasn't faithful. So yeah, that was like, it was perfect. And that's what I seen and loved about Lauren's whole gameplay, is that it looks like she's going backwards, but really she's coming upstream and catching it on the other side.
Yeah, she just needs friends.
Hello, Aspen. Since you just got here, who's your up and down this week?
Oh, did everybody else say theirs already?
Yes.
Damn. Huh. I would say probably up for me is Dar, and down L.
All right, that's kind of the consensus. Well, speaking of
Makes
Dar, he was the one that voted different. He voted for Al. How do you think he handled that after the fact by trying to say, well, I didn't want to vote for Drea because she would come after me. That's the real traitor.
He's doing a little too much now. Like he went from not doing enough and kind of sitting back, where he's almost overcompensating. And I think had he just let that sit and simmer with people, it really would have turned on L. But now I think because he's doing a little too much, it could end up backfiring on him. That's why I couldn't put him up this week, because I still sense him. One of the traders is in immediate danger. Yeah. And I'm actually thinking it could be him more so than L now. And it's because he is doing a little bit too much. I never thought I'd say that about Dar, but
I kind of want to disagree with that because I do think that he was pushing her name out like for the right reasons because he had to blame someone, or like kind of like push like the gears towards someone else. But I think where he messed up was when he didn't confide like Elle into like the plan, and then she all of a sudden wanted to, vote out Drea, and that was like that should have been pushed where he's like, hey, we need to vote out like Raven or Lori or someone else, not Drea.
He had 30 minutes.
I agree.
He had 30 minutes for me where I was like, oh shit. I even commented as I was watching it. I was like, is Dar the mastermind of the season? Because I was like, for just half the episode, he kind of had everyone like wrapped around his finger, and he was about to target Elle. And I was like, this is so good. But then he over-explained the fact that he voted for Elle because he wanted Drea, and then allowed Drea to be off by the two of them. That is what completely turned it around for me. It was like, it was a really smart move, but you just had to keep committing to it. You had to keep Drea safe. You had to kill off like Raven or something to like get that ball rolling. But he ended up becoming way worse than he was supposed to be. And yeah, like he was so close to being a mastermind of this episode and the season. But
yeah, he way over explained. And you don't even need that whole story. I mean, we don't have to vote as a group. Everybody can vote individually. All he has to do is say, I don't think it's Lauren.
Yeah.
I think it could
But
be
that's
Elle.
why I think that's the reason that he played the way he did. I believe he did that because he really just voted Elle because of retaliation on what she had done. And he figured, okay, so that's a game play that I didn't think of. I'm going to play that move while it's still fresh, while I can still explain it. And then when he did it, it was just like, okay, maybe I don't really want to hide behind that. That might create too much tension between someone I'm supposed to play with. So instead, he went the other route and decided to say, hey, this is the story that he ended up creating. And that is why I believe that Elle, the reason that there's that dynamic where it's shifting between him and her, because she's trying to take him from at face value that he just did that because it was a strategic gameplay. But in her heart, she knows that he did that because she voted him. And so as long as she stays humble and sits in that, he's going to blow up his own game. But as soon as she allows that to fester or fuel her, that's why it's that seesaw right now, because whoever they're on that pivotal moment right now.
This is the episode of not being able to own your shit. Nobody owned their shit the whole episode.
Yeah.
And then he told everyone about the reasoning, when the reasoning is that he doesn't want the traitors to target him. So if he really believed that Drea was a traitor, then telling everyone else that that's the reason would still target him as someone to go out. So like, if anyone sat with that more, it would have been easy to tell, like, this doesn't make any sense. But I will say, like, the one positive thing about Dar is that I really do love that he sits in the call and says, how do you feel about this game? And it always works. There's not a single person that's like, why are you not telling me anything? Why are you only getting information? And why am I the first to talk? But it works for all of them. So
too many people like to talk about themselves.
That actually makes me remember that I think I want to change my down. And I only really want to change it because why is Jason still asking people, are they traitors this far in the game? Like, why?
I mean, I've always hated that question. I always hate asking, are you a traitor?
All the way through, though, like at this point, it's like, do you think anybody would tell you? Do you think you'd be able to gauge it at this point? Like, like you gotta start looking for evidence. You said what?
Fan guy said something, but you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, fan guy.
There's definitely one cast member who likes to talk about themselves more than anyone else.
Who's that?
Jason.
Jason. I don't think I've seen a chat with him where it wasn't about his feeling. This dude needs to grow out a ponytail because there's this expression. I don't know if it's like a worldwide expression, like me and my boys kind of just say it, where it's like Mr. Sensitive Ponytail Man.
What?
No, that's what he strikes me as, Mr. Sensitive Ponytail Man. Without,
I've never heard this, but that's interesting.
There's just it's a type of person.
I'm sensitive.
I am too, and this is coming from the state. It takes one to know one.
But I was going to say that makes sense because that would explain why he keeps asking because he's looking for that trust. Like, hey, you're a traitor, and so you're sensitive. You're like trying to fill it out. You're trying to,
Are we?
He just thinks everybody else thinks it's also just as important, like what his feelings are about things. Like,
yes.
You have something to say about Dar, Rita?
I said, are we done with Dar?
Wait, we got to move on to Jason. I don't want to get there yet.
Dar did play a great first half of this episode, though. I'm 100% agreeing with Alex. Like, Dar killed it the first half. I thought he was going to stick with the L thing, and it was going to totally fuck her, and it was going to be great. And I'm pulling for L, so it was like, I thought it was great. And then he just ruined it with the with so many things. He ruined it.
He could have just left it because he kept saying, if it's not Dre, it's L. That's such a good, like, little.
It was beautiful.
Leave it at that and, like, let it fester. And people would have.
Yes.
Raven was getting into that call ready to, like, get the notes on L. And Dar completely moved it to Drea, which he ultimately killed later on. Like, it is just not good gameplay. When I actually really loved him trying to kill Anthony the other episode beforehand. Like, he was making good moves, and he just kind of fell short, and really short this time. So,
yeah. I was surprised that he didn't push another name further because he did push the other two, votes the last time. So that's why I was, like, really confused on that.
A little buckle under pressure. Just a little bit.
I don't know.
I'll give him some credit, though. And I'll say, like, maybe he realizes he needs 2 traitors at the end because we're getting down to the end with the votes. And so, like, maybe he thinks if there's 2 of them left, they control half of the votes, basically, if they can get like, one more person out. So it'll be a lot easier for them to win together. Right, but I'm saying it'll be a lot easier for them to win together than if one of them
You're saying that's probably why he pivoted and started saying like pulling it off of L?
Yeah, that's where, like, I want to give him the benefit. So, maybe that's what he was thinking is.
Maybe. Or maybe subconsciously that's what he's hoping will happen.
That's insulation for each other at that point, and it's one less vote you have to get through when there's 2 of you left.
Yeah.
Why do you think Al targeted Drea, and do you think she should have? Who do you think she should have targeted for her game?
She definitely targeted Drea for her game. I mean, Drea was sussing Elle at the beginning, and Drea is also loud. And, whether or not she really has control of, like, anybody changing their minds, because it's really Lori and Anthony at this point changing everyone's minds. Elle, like, Drea was in Elle's mouth, or, like, Elle was in Drea's mouth. So I feel like that's, like, why she targeted her as well. And she kind of, like, didn't forget about that. She takes steps where she doesn't forget about stuff, and then she'll, like, kind of, like, integrate it into, like, conversations, like, later on. And I've noticed that a lot with her.
I think Elle suffered from lack of information, to be honest, because she kind of went into that thinking that Drea was the faithful of the faithfuls, and, like, no one was thinking her, and that, like, she would be the perfect person to kill. And also, she's going at this game very analytically and very game body, when the rest of the cast at this point, like, Mike is gone. No one is thinking that way. So she kind of went at it way too overboard. And she did not realize that people were absolutely sus on Drea. Like, she didn't have those conversations with Anthony. Like, Anthony and Lori are in the power seat in terms of all the relationships and, like, everyone's listening to them too. She never really got a chance to talk to them and realize that Drea is, like, kind of on the top of the list. And so I think she suffered from, like, just kind of being isolated with information and thinking that everyone's going to think logically like the way she is. And that's just not the case. I mean, they all forgot that what Mike said about Dar. They all forgot about how actually protected certain people and didn't talk about anyone else. Like, they did not do that homework, whereas Elle is, like, constantly still on that track and thinking that everyone's gravitating towards the same information. So
I just want to know, like, because Dar did mention, hey, I have been targeting Drea, like, why wouldn't she want to change her vote? Like, it just seemed like she was not, like, caring about saving Dar at all. And that
I don't think she does care about saving
Dar. She don't give a damn about his game.
Yeah.
No.
And that's what
at
was
this
just
point,
like,
she doesn't care.
Yeah. It was
and I mean, honestly, I feel like Anthony would have been a better vote. A murder for the Traitors. Drea, I put in my notes, I mean, like, what do you do here? You don't
She
do
was
anything here.
she was barely even here in this
Yeah.
episode.
You're
Like,
not that involved in the conversation. You're not pushing anybody's names. Like
yeah,
she's not
Who?
going to get voted out. People do think that she's a
Drea.
faithful.
yeah.
But I think they could have. She
Nobody.
could have pushed it, and her and Dar could have gone and probably succeeded at a Drea vote if they pushed hard enough. But Anthony was the right choice for the murder, and they've already tried to kill him. So let's be done with it now. Get him out and be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not the right kill.
Were they
Because
able to
Drea was on the tip of everybody's tongue. It looked like she was going to be the next vote out. But once again, I'm just going to back up Alex. I think she suffered from lack of information, like lack of game awareness on that part. But she is the sharpest player left in the game from a game theory perspective.
Yeah.
She had Jason read really right. Like she knows how he's going to react. So yeah. So it's got to be you kill Anthony,
Everybody
you kill
has
Raven,
Jason
or you
read
kill
right.
Lori.
I would love to play a game with Jason. I actually really want to.
What? So, fan guy, you don't think this 5 a.m. rabbit hole spiral is like the most intelligent thing in the game?
I put her up, and it was specifically for the 5 a.m. rabbit hole.
Why did I never think to call Nick at 5 a.m.?
Literally.
Right. So
I do that.
I felt connected to Raven this episode, like more connected than I ever did during this
Lauren
episode.
texted
Like,
me and she was
I
like, "It's
finally
not fair," and I'm
understood.
like, "Well, it's not technically against the rules. Just nobody's ever really tried to do that before. I don't think."
She's the only cast member who's on to both Traitors. The only one. She's the only cast member who is on to both of them.
No.
But they own to her too. They own to her ass.
Lori said Elle's name too at the beginning as well, because she was tracking when Elle was
Yeah, she
saying
did.
Lauren's name at the beginning.
But is Lori onto Dar? That's
No, Lori's on to
Lori,
Jason.
I think Lori is a little bit onto Dar as well. I think she did mention Dar's name on this episode, but she didn't like push it.
Lori
like
on
other
a dark.
people.
I thought she's like totally like family locked down on Dar and just.
I think she
From
actually
what I
mentioned
see,
his
she's
name
just not.
this last time.
If someone mentions Dar's name, they're on her target list, like
Yeah.
right off. It's like
She's not.
I mean, that's what I'm.
She's not pushing people. She's mentioning them like once, and then she's not really pushing it. She's not being assertive with it, and that's like why it's kind of being dismissed.
Who, Lori?
And it's like being under.
Lori or Raven?
Lori.
Lori.
Yeah. About Dar,
the idea
though.
of Dar.
She did say
We're
something
saying about Dargo, right?
She did say something about Dar. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know that he was on her radar. She like had it in her notes or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, I want to circle back to the Jason and Al dynamics that have come so far in the game.
Oh.
How do you feel they both played this week's round against each other?
Terrible.
Who is that? Jason and who?
Jason and Al.
Oh, okay, Jason and.
I was going to try to be positive tonight. You know, Mike said something last week that resounded with me. And he's like, man, there's so much negative energy in here. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a lot of good things. Yeah. And he was right, because we were just ripping these faithfuls to shreds, and they've earned every bit of it, mind you. And I'd like to say to the faithfuls, it's not because you guys aren't on to the Traitors. It's because of the reasoning and logic, for me at least, that you're using to come to the conclusions you're coming to. Like, the fact is,
I will say this too. I'm gonna second that. This is not personal. This is on a game level. So I'm like, we all got ripped to shreds when we played our games. So if you can't handle it, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
we don't expect you guys to just know who the Traitors are. Like, we don't. But like, I would rather you guys just say, I'm just going with my intuition, rather than coming up with this fucking far-fetched, weird-ass, nonsensical logic. Just say, I don't like this person, or I have a gut feeling about this person, or any of that, and you would get less shit from me than taking the line of thought that some of y'all are taking. That being said,
like, who was it? Someone said that Dar was cool and he can't be the traitor, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, guys? Like, what?
Well, I just want the cast to, like, every time a faithful is killed off, it doesn't mean that we didn't get any progress. Like
Yeah.
I think with the Faithfuls, their issue is that every time a Faithful is killed, they're completely demoralized and they think that all progress was lost. They didn't do anything good. No, it's actually not true. If you go back to the Mike vote, right? Everything that he said, now that he's a Faithful, you can trust what his theories are. So why don't you sit?
But what are they doing with that?
What? They're not doing
They're not
anything.
doing anything with it.
That's what I'm saying, is that I wish the cast could just, there's a lot of downtime. I know these games, like, you know, you talk for a few hours, but then you have a whole night and a whole day to think about it. You can just sit with it, with Lori's notes, and be like, what did Mike say about Dar? Should we go after Dar?
No.
Literally should have happened as soon as Mike was voted out, and it has
Exactly.
not really fucking happened.
Well,
and that's why I still
they did
tried.
finally
They
circle
did
back to
try.
it this round.
They did
2
try.
rounds later.
a
Yeah.
little bit.
But they almost did it as a joke. They're like, well, what if Mike was right?
I know.
Like,
Fair enough.
Yeah,
But
we're not serious.
But going back to Elle and Jason, I don't think, like, could have Jason handled it a little bit better? I don't really know, because honestly, the way that these people switched their mindset very quickly, it's like, how is he supposed to handle it? You know, what is the right, appropriate, like, protocol to handle something like that? Because as soon as they get an idea in their head, they're like, oh, that person's a traitor. And he even said it. He was like, hey, Anthony switched his vibe on me and blah, 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 blah. And like, so I think like the way that he handled it, I don't know if it could have been handled any like better than what it was handled, to be honest. But that's just me.
I think he could have handled it a lot better, personally.
What do you think he could have done?
I mean, just not acting.
Not acting like no
infantile.
bitch.
Thank you. I say infantile. Aspen says like a little bitch. Basically the same. We're playing the synonym game here. Because that's what he did. He's like, he goes into the conversation. Elle has every reason to like be unhappy about what he did to Mike. From her perspective, they were all working closely together, and he
Not
did his
really
thing.
though, because I mean, she does have a reason, but she's also bringing in past games for this game, and that's like, for me, like, that's a big no. Like, why are you?
No. Wait,
But was
did
she?
he bring
Was
in past games, or did Jason bring in past
Well, he
games?
brought it up. I'm sorry. She brought it up this conversation, but I think he brought it up in the past. But she brought it up this conversation that she didn't want to be another Susan, and I'm like, okay,
she
so
did
what are
say
you?
that.
What are you supposed to do that? Like, how are you supposed to work that in if somebody's like watching your past season and they're automatically going to lug you with that gameplay to this?
But I mean, what if she feels like Susan?
Mike was Susan. Mike was Susan.
Traitor.
Well,
But I feel like the only reason she said that was to further his spiral down. That was her goal, was to get him to wig out the whole time, and that's exactly what happened. So
right.
The Susan comment was a shot to further her plan.
Yeah, I just didn't like the way that she was victimizing her wording while she was doing
Has he not earned this?
She was doing that a lot, and it was like getting kind of annoying to the point.
If you want to play the victim,
that's
then
traitor
be the
antics.
victim.
I know.
don't have any sympathy for Jason at all.
Listen,
He's earned every bit of it.
would have been one of my first vote outs, and same with Dar. So I'm just.
I don't see how anyone can stick up for what he's done.
Yeah,
He's earning every bit of what he's
I mean,
doing.
fan guy, you did say it's something positive to say
about other people, not about Jason. Matter of fact, that was my point when I went on my little diatribe.
I'll
was that,
say-
of course,
I'll
we're
say
starting with the
something
people that I
positive
have
about
nothing
Jason.
nice to say about.
I tried.
I'll say something positive. I will say, to Jason's credit, this is his personality. Elle clocked his personality and is completely using that to her advantage. She even said it out. She wants to do this so that he can continue spiraling down and that he can get voted out unanimously. And so Jason's really just walking into a trap, right? And so I can't really fault someone for having a personality as like interesting as his is, right? It's very much, he's very passionate and he's very defensive and he's very a little bit like self obsessed in the way, because he will walk into the trap. And I'm not going to say this is a mean thing about Jason. I'm saying this as like, Jason, you are being tricked. And I don't want, it's not necessarily 100% his fault. I think Elle is just really playing it up. She's not actually hurt. Like, Please. She's
Well,
not.
it makes me curious too. He was repeating that story back to Anthony, right? About how she was this big fan of his and Mike's and Dar and blah blah blah. How would you not be able to clock that somebody watched your past seasons, knows your every fucking move, and then they're just literally just growing your ego, bro. Like they're growing you. They're like, hey, yeah, you did so well. Like I would have been like, oh, that's a little weird. Like I'm gonna keep an eye out on you. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
What?
What I'll say nice about Jason is that I want to like Jason. Jason, I really do. Like, I'm not even bullshitting you guys. I'm not bullshitting you, Jason. I want to like you.
Jason wants you to like him too, fan guy.
He makes it so fucking hard to like him within the scope of this game. It is nearly impossible to pull for Jason.
His face when they dropped that 65 thing and he didn't know what was going on, I was dying.
His face whenever Drea threw that vote out, he looked fucking.
He looks so mad
when he like doesn't move.
Pissed. And then even when he was trying to play it off, like when she said the real vote, and he's like trying to act happy, he's still like.
Oh no!
I'm crying. No.
Yeah. Listen, I tried with the positivity. Sorry, Mike.
I got lots of positivity, just not for Jason. Sorry, Jason.
Yeah, fuck all that positivity shit.
Well,
Fuck that.
maybe we could find some positivity with Anthony and Lori's latest plan of numbers.
Nick, you are setting us up right now. You're setting us up.
Don't piss me off. Do not piss me off.
For the record, I actually like the plan. I don't like the random numbers. I do like the plan.
Okay, this isn't the first. We've all come up with little plans and shows. Do you remember that time, Alex, that Patty tried to like play something in like
Bro,
Mandarin?
I will never forget him trying to play something in Mandarin. I don't speak Mandarin, and he's playing something so short. And he's like, "Did you get that, Alex?" I'm like, "Get what, dude?" Like, he never told me he was gonna do that. Like it was out of the most random. Like I was so offended. I was like, "This is literally not happening right now." Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I do remember that. I wish I did remember that. I wish that he never thought to do something like that.
But why can't the numbers just be like 1, 2, 3, 4?
That's what fan guy said in the chat.
You know,
get to? Like, how did that?
Lori said she was just high in the chat.
I will give Raven like props to that.
What?
Raven said you guys should have put phrases instead.
She was too high to count to 4?
Right. High off of what? What are you high off of? Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Well, random numbers aside, how do you feel about these two? At least these two would like have a duo where they're gonna lock in on a vote.
This is positive for me. I think when it's down to these numbers, having like this solid duo and having everyone kind of listen to you is the best way to like get forward in the game, right? Obviously, like you can get targeted and get killed by the traitors, but at the same time, it's like you have a structure that people look at, right? So it's very advantageous for these two to make it further in the game, especially for Lori. But basically, everyone trusts her, and the traitors trust her. Like she's going to the end. I think. I don't think there's gonna be a world where she's out. I don't know if she wins this game, but she's in the best position that anyone's ever been for like weeks. Oh, kitty. Sorry. Move on.
Janessa, you haven't been here the last few weeks either. How do you feel about the Anthony-Lori duo?
How do I feel about the Anthony what?
The Anthony and Lori duo. Or their plan.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was liking it. All of that just happened so quickly. It all happened so quick, and like I don't have those notes. I'm still processing. Says Anthony listening about L. Like that whole. I like the duo. I honestly did. I felt like they could have gone far. I feel like they could have been making big strides on. I feel like Anthony shouldn't have been so out there. Like they had the right idea when they start saying, like everybody was saying, like limit what you're saying in front of other people.
Yes.
They had the right idea, but they were still talking in front of the wrong people. And so that was the whole thing. I feel like, because who was that who mentioned that Anthony was the only one talking during the
Leia?
Lauren.
Oh, Lauren.
Yeah, it was Lauren.
Maury,
Lauren.
Lauren, yes. And see, I think that for her is what sealed her fate is when she start like honing in on that, because that was his plan. His plan was to do all the talking. And so even with the interrogation and him already like fixating on her by her, like every time one faithful like feels there's a reason to go after the other faithful, it's almost like it creates like a boomerang, instead of them stopping and like just addressing like, this is why it can't be me. I hear what you're saying, and this is why it just happens to be one of those things that are coincidences. Because I'm realizing a lot in my life, like there are moments where it could be a coincidence, or it could just be like meant to happen for that reason, which they kind of go hand in hand. And instead of just addressing like, it does look like this with Raven, even down to the anxiety, just saying like, hey, this is what I'm addressing. I'm going to address your concerns with me. And now let's focus on what we still have factual on the table. That's why when people are saying receipts, the receipts are what happened. What happened? Let's talk about what happened. And that's what people keep failing to do, is they keep failing to go back. And that's what Anthony was doing. Anthony was willing to stop and say, and Lori had the notes. She had the receipts.
Well, if she used her notes.
If she
used them, right. Exactly. If she used them.
I love the cast being like, Lori, thank you for your notes. Has she ever given out notes to people?
She's the bookkeeper, Alex.
She did this round. She's the bookkeeper.
Like, she doesn't use it enough. Like, no one's asking enough questions about something that happened. And, like, again, it goes back, what Janessa is saying to me, I agree. Like, it goes back to the fact that no one's using the people who are booted out and their information, right? So, like, people who are dead, murdered by the traitors, people who are voted out, all of those people and their opinions matter. Like, why no one has done that?
Well, Raven kind of got there at 5:06.
I'm really happy for the rabbit hole that she's going in. But like,
so did Lori.
Raven
so did Lori and Anthony. They're open to things now.
Yeah,
like, that's the one thing I really liked about them this week.
Yeah,
was they're open to all the possibilities now.
They are.
They're not open to
Raven
the possibility
has been the most on point without knowing she's been almost on point.
Raven has to double check if she herself is a traitor. That's how lost Raven.
Yeah.
And Lori and Anthony are running this shit. They are. They're running this shit.
They need to get it right though. In this next one, if they don't get it right, they are done. But they could have done that right after Mike, not after Lauren. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just a little bit behind on the ball, and that's why I like Anthony, because there's a possibility of him actually turning this around. It's just he was so off last week that it really set them back like ages. So
I like Lori's game more than Anthony's. I don't like Anthony is just irritating me, because what did he say when Lauren was voted out? He said that I'm not working with anyone. I don't trust any of you guys. And then what is he doing? He's working with Lori, so he's contradicting himself constantly. He threw Raven under the bus, even though he said he wasn't working with her, even though he was working with her, regardless of what the fuck he wants to make it out as. And like, he made it seem like she was a traitor. Oh, if he would have gotten voted out, it would have been Raven. Like just stuff like that, where then he preaches, I'm loyal to a fault. You're not going to talk to me as a Leo and say, hey, I'm loyal to a fault, when you're fucking throwing people under the bus, bro. Like, I don't like his gameplay. And I think that Lori is his saving grace in this game, because like, she's, everyone trusts her. I think if they were separated, I really feel like Anthony would have been out already.
So you mentioned how Anthony was saying like he was playing alone, which is funny because that was the reason that he targeted Lauren to begin with. By saying she was playing alone.
He keeps on contradicting himself, and then he's validating his reasons while everyone else is like, oh, no, their reasoning, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Rita, please tell me you seen that man wearing a shirt that said "Daddy." Please tell me you seen that. The daddy shirt.
I
Daddy?
almost fucking I almost barfed in my mouth when I saw that.
I was
You know what's
like,
really funny? Okay,
this the right channel?
fan guy saying that Raven is like flirting with the people in the house. I don't think she's doing it on purpose, but Anthony was really giddy when she noticed the daddy shirt and she noticed the other shirt. Like he was really into it. So honestly, fan guy, you might be right about this because I don't think she's doing it on purpose, but it's working. Like
I don't think she's flirting with people. I think she's flirting with Anthony, and I think Anthony is flirting with her.
Episode one wasn't that there was them two when they were talking about he had started talking about his ex.
Listen, I think
And how he
they
was single.
actually like each other. I think they're friendly. They like each other. That's fine. But this is not that, guys. This is a fucking separate game.
Maybe that'll be Nick's next show.
Like this,
Don't give me any ideas. Man. Don't give me any ideas.
Go to Love Island.
Rita had a possible love connection and didn't see right for her either. So yeah.
That and that's like the whole reason why Raven's like, no, it can't be Anthony, which it's not Anthony. She's right. But like the way that she's like her reasons sometimes for targeting people, like she only targeted Lauren because Lauren made her feel uncomfortable. Anthony never made her feel uncomfortable. And like that's why, like Lauren, because Lauren has a different personality, she's more assertive, and Raven is not assertive. She's more, like soft, and she's soft spoken, blah, 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 blah. They automatically don't mesh together. And because Anthony and her have been like so softly spoken to each other, they're not gonna fucking target each other. Except for Anthony threw her under the bus, but she still trusts him.
I think she owns that though. And she said that. She said the only reason she didn't really think Lauren was a traitor. She just knew that Lauren was coming for her. So that was her best game move. Yeah. And I mean, I think she's self-aware. I don't know how game aware she is, but I think she's self-aware at least.
I do think Raven, Anthony, and Lori could be the winners of the season. They just need to lock it down, one of Dara or Elle this week. That's it. Like if you miss Final 7, I think it's over. So they have one chance left for me.
If y'all were in the game and Lori and Anthony are throwing out random numbers, would that make you wary of them? Would it make you?
I would literally call them out. I'd be like, guys, like we know that, like I know that you're fucking hiding something, and like just be upfront about it. It's fine. Yeah. Like like
someone tried to call him out, didn't they? Like
Al asked. I don't know if it was a call.
It's just a random number. Yeah, Lori's like, it's just a random number.
It means bullshit. Oh, that's 65. What the hell?
I can't wait for her to use it in a whole group conversation. Like now that she understands it, I can't wait for them to like use it again and see how well that plays off.
I'm gonna double down on this. No one has really challenged Anthony. Like maybe Lauren has challenged him a little bit, and look how spiral he got with that little fucking challenge. No one has challenged him head on, and I'm like, I don't know why people aren't challenging him.
If Al wouldn't have off Dre was definitely going after Anthony.
Yes,
so good.
Dre was so ready to go after Anthony. I love Dre in this game. I really do.
Well, any other thoughts on Raven? We haven't talked about her. She did have her rabbit hole this entire episode. She sent me a video at 5 a.m. to talk about it. Thoughts on Raven's game this week?
I think she's playing the best she can right now. Yeah. And it's actually finally like coming to fruition. Like she's been not making sense this whole season, but now she is actually, to me, the only person stepping back and listening to what people have said previously. And she's like, this makes sense now, or like this is starting to make sense. And she has her eyes set on the right people. Now she needs people to listen to her though. That's a real thing. But I do like where she's at right now. She narrowly escaped the Anthony murder that almost happened on her. And now she is like kind of in a second wind right now. So I hope that she can do it, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it might be too late for her. She's been so scattered the whole season. I don't know if she can convince people to believe what she has to say. Her best shot would be bringing everybody's minds back to the Mike thing about Dar and having them kind of get there on their own.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if she kind of just coasts right now where she's at, she's made it as far as she did, floundering in the flow of the river. I think that if she could make it down to where, because I don't know how far, Nick, you're going to have everybody voting and stuff like that, but honestly, the way Elle and Dar keep going back and forth at each other, if she found herself in a position where she was, I don't know how far you guys, like I said, how far you vote down, but she could possibly take the traitors out by voting that she believes they're still there, that she doesn't believe that there's any other faithfuls there but herself, if she makes it, close enough to the end.
Yeah, I could see that too. But will she have the balls to do that?
That's my issue.
Can she make it clear?
She's not assertive. She has the right things going on right now. She just, I don't know if she's, even with Anthony and their little puppy eyes, I don't know if she's gonna have the assertiveness and the persuasion to actually get people to listen.
She's not assertive.
What would work
is
if Anthony did the work and then the traitors turned on Anthony at the 4. The traitors turned on Anthony and left her the only faithful standing. That would work in terms of standing up, because she's not going to do it. You're right.
She would lose.
Well, then she would lose at that point.
She would just lose. She needs to have two. Like there can't be. She can't be in final 2 with the traitors. She can't be in final 3 with 2 traitors. She has to have majority of faithfuls over the traitors. So like that's why I'm saying it has to be around this point. It can't really be at final 5, because those 2 traitors just need one other vote, and it's like it just gets really janky at that point when you have 2 voices saying something aligned, right? And so I honestly wish Raven was the person that Anthony was really trusting, because that would have worked. Whereas Lori's playing the best social game, but she's not doing anything in terms of deducing who it is. She's kind of just like playing the best game of staying alive. And that's not really going to help the faithfuls actually win it. So I do wish Raven had the trust of someone like Anthony.
Yeah, I think Raven has everyone clocked correctly. She just doesn't have the confidence to see it through.
Yes.
And you can just see that, like when she voted Lauren, like where was this baby voice coming from? I was like, this is really awkward right now. She's like, I don't want to vote you, but this is
I love you. No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, she gotta let them balls drop. She gotta let them balls drop, baby.
Oh my god!
And not taking anything away from Raven, because she's really the only one that's clocking both of them at this point. But this was Mike's original idea.
Yes.
And, like it kind of just doubles down, and like no one listened to him when he was in this game. So, and now she's had like this revelation of, hey, it's Dar. He's been telling you that the entire time.
At 5 a.m. Yeah. Because, these games have a way of staying on your head, even after you're not in directly chatting.
It's psychological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
She just needs like one, like assertive player that's going to be on her side, that would be able to like, kind of like coach her through things, because she does not know. I don't think she knows what she's doing in this game. Respectfully.
Fan guy, final thoughts on Raven this week?
She's great. I mean, like, no, I mean, like in all seriousness, she's the only one who has the tune. She's literally the only person. True. I mean, you could say a little bit of Lori, I get it, but like Raven's the only one who's like her top 2 suspects are the 2 traitors.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Like,
yeah,
you got to give her some credit for that.
Yeah.
Whether she saw it in the stars, whether she saw it in the smoke, whether she saw it on the Ouija board, she's on it.
Yeah,
the Ouija board is crazy,
bro. We're not.
Where does Raven live?
In this shit.
Colorado.
Oh.
Okay,
that tracks.
Any final thoughts on anyone else? The final 6.
Wait, are we gonna wait? Did we talk about everybody?
Did we?
Kind of. Unless you had something. That's why I'm asking. Do you have something more on someone?
Did we talk about Al popping up in that chat while Jason was shit talking her? I fucking love when that stuff happens. I live for those moments. I'm like, yes. And I love to see how everybody, I have to like rewind and watch how everybody reacts because I fucking love it.
What did you get from their reactions?
Or when Anthony was talking shit on Lauren and Lauren popped up and she was like,
yeah, but this one was like, he was like right in the middle of it. There was no skating around it, denying it.
He
I
kept
think
going.
he did the best thing by just
He did.
talking like, you know, while she's there. But I just love it when people try to act like they don't see them come in or that they're not doing anything wrong. I
don't know if Jason would have cared if she came in, to be honest. Like that's like kind of his personality to a core. Like because he has that military background, like he's gonna say what the hell he needs to say and he's gonna like move on from it.
Yeah.
Like whereas Anthony is like, I'm gonna hide my face and not pretend I'm not speaking right now and like get out of the chat. I don't know.
Jason confuses me so much because he's so on L about how upset she is about Mike, but he's doing the exact same thing to her that he is accusing her of doing with the Mike situation.
Yeah.
Like he's behaving the exact same way.
I just don't like how he tries to act like he wasn't aware of what was happening with him, Alan, Mike, and he wants to now go and tell everybody that, oh, she has a hard on for me and Mike from our previous shows, and she just wants to work with us so bad.
To be fair, Jason and Mike's agreement was we'll protect each other at the beginning, and then as far as we can. I don't think Al was in on that part of it.
Yeah, but then they never really got past that point because Mike left.
But I don't necessarily think Jason thinks Elle's a traitor either. He's just kind of being petty with the whole situation.
No,
and he's like, well, you think I'm a traitor, so I think you're a traitor.
Like, Jason's on a whole different like planet right now. Because if he doesn't think Anthony and Laura, he's like trying to preach to Anthony and Laura that he's a faithful, right? And if he doesn't think Elle is does he think Dar and Raven? I guess that's his people. But he never talks about Raven either.
I think he thinks that Dar is one, but he won't vote him out because he's a boy.
Yeah, you're muted.
It feels like he lives on the world with the monkey bars and the merry-go-round and the slide and the swings because he acts like a child.
I don't know if he really does think Dar is a traitor. If he does, he's just not doing a good job pushing him because he's like, I don't know why he strayed away from like one of the four of us are traitors and now like two of them are out. Why is he not pushing that narrative? He hasn't
strayed away from it. He's just not pushing it. He brings it up.
He's like a dog who sees a squirrel. He gets so distracted by the next shiny argument that he leaves all of that in the past. He only can see what's directly in front of him at that moment.
Yeah, he's so focused on clearing his name and
He even says to Anthony, I think, that if they vote out Dar, then there's only two guys left, and they'll be in trouble. And I'm like, we're in final six. Like, you gotta get someone out that you think could be a traitor. Like, his gameplay is. No, I'm so sorry, Jason. I'm not trying to add to it, but it's not making sense to me, and I don't think it's helping. You're
going to be on his list now, Alex. He's going to come for you.
Mike doesn't help the game. He's not helping this game, like, at all.
He's gunning for us, buddy. He's going to be gunning for us, buddy.
I feel like if there's anybody he's going to gun for, it's the person that actually worked with him, me, and I'm talking all this shit about him, but he fucking deserves it.
Game. You deserve
it. That's right. Y'all better stand on business.
His gameplay has not been sound this season. No. So
Jason, you seem fantastic. This is why I'm so frustrated with you. It's because you do seem like a fantastic person.
Yeah.
This is solely why I am so frustrated with you, because I said it earlier. I really want to cheer for you.
Yeah.
You just make it hard.
I'm wanting to cheer for the potential of what he has, but he's not giving me anything to cheer for.
I do think the Faithfuls have a shot now.
What potential?
What fucking potential? No shot, and I think they have a shot now. I really do think.
Not with Jason, but yes.
I will say this for Meg, Aspen, Alex. You were on the podcast on his season last season, and he said he's trying to listen these last two rounds of he doesn't want to be the one pushing. He wants to be more quiet. He doesn't want to be the one pushing. Do you think that is wrong? Do you think listening to y'all is wrong?
This moment, it's wrong in this moment when you have nowhere to hide. You have to.
But he's still the loudest one in the room. It's not the fact that it's not about pushing. It's about keeping your mouth shut.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Oh no! I feel so bad.
Well, I don't know what advice. What advice do you want to give Jason?
Shut
Stop
up.
talking.
Shut up. Yeah. Stop.
Just listen more, man. Just listen more. Talk less.
Yes.
Listen, like ask other people what
But
they're
isn't that
thinking.
his job? Is to listen
Is it? What's his
to
job?
veterans or like? Isn't that what he does?
Do you think that's why he talks so much outside of that?
Yeah, maybe that's why he needs to talk more in this game because he doesn't talk much in his job.
I mean, I can feel that. Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, but
No, we need to stop. We need to stop making up excuses for this shit. No.
I want to ask who out of the four faithfuls has the best shot at winning this game, and then
Lori.
Lori.
Traitors
Lori.
has a shot of defeating everyone. Like, is it going to be if all two traitors? Is it going to be one of the two? I want to know what you guys think because I'm definitely open to all of it.
I think it comes down to this next vote, Alex. You kind of hinted at that all episode.
Yeah.
Like, I think this next vote's going to be very, very pivotal.
Yeah.
To that, I do think one of the traders personally is going to get out before the end of the game.
Yes.
I don't know which one. If I had to say right now, I'd say it's going to be Dar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I also think if Dar goes out, I also think L doesn't win because there's not enough trust with L.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's like L is like on everyone's medium besides Raven. She's like on everyone's like mid range, and if we're at like final 3, it's like, do we really want to chance it on L being a traitor? I think L needs Dar alive.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because if they go for Dar is already pushing L. They were pushing Dre. He was pushing Dre and L. So L was already coming out of his mouth, and they already had that theory.
I was going to say that. I think it could help L because I don't think
will.
Crew has shown us.
They already had that
Crew has not
theory
shown
that
us the game
the traitors
awareness.
are going to vote for each other. They already have that in their mindset that the traitors are at some point going to vote for each other. So once they go for Dar
When
and realize
have
that
they
Dar
said that? When has anyone said that? We know that the traders might go for each other, but they have given us no reason to think that the traders are going to go for each other.
Someone mentioned it in one of their.
Someone mentioned it though, like weeks ago, but it was. I think it was.
Yeah, I don't think they
serious. This crew has not shown the game awareness at all for me to have that.
You guys understand those little
Anthony, Lori, and Raven, and then L in the final 4. I don't think L has any chance in winning.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's not about
whether
or not like if Dar goes out, then they'll just think L is safe. No one, this cast has not done that.
They're not thinking that deep.
She's burned
They're
a
not
lot
thinking
of those
deep enough to even realize that.
she's played.
It's about relationships.
Nobody trusts her.
Yeah, so L does not have any footing with these people besides, strangely, Jason.
And not anymore because she burned that bridge.
Yeah, so I do think.
Yeah, that's dead.
I think
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I don't think they're sharp enough to realize to even think about the fact that two traders wouldn't go. Like, I don't
it is
even think
not
they're
always
think
about whether you're sharp enough to think about it, but that the seed is in the brain somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I guess I would have to go back, which I'm probably not. I don't have time to do. But
these people have nobody watering that seed.
That's kind of what I'm getting.
Those seeds are dry. They're just in the water.
They'll vote L out just because they don't like she's lowest on their totem pole. It's gonna have nothing to do with whether they're not even gonna factor in that Dar and L were going at each other.
I agree.
I think it's going to be obviously Lori and Anthony, and I think it's going to be between Raven and L. And I think they're probably just going to take Raven with them just because Raven's been with them for that long.
Do the traders get another murder?
They could just go final 2, Anthony and Lori. Honestly,
yeah,
I could see that happening.
If the traders get another murder, Anthony's gone.
Are there
That's
any
true.
murders?
That's true. Or Raven.
What's that?
Or Raven.
Will there be any more murders? But no, right?
Oh, there's not.
No.
Yeah.
I genuinely think Anthony and Lori have this in the bag. They just need to stick to a final 2 and not let anyone else get in there.
Yeah.
Unless they're left with Dar and L.
Well, Raven's Raven's in there a little
Wow.
bit because Lori does trust Raven. So
I was about to say they need a final three: Lori, Anthony, and Raven.
Oh,
yeah.
that would suck if it's Ellen Dar the final four.
They're
What
gonna
I
need
will
that.
say is if you watch the preview for next week, and Nick never gives stuff away with this, so it's probably a red herring.
Okay.
But I actually had to go back through Fan Guy's notes of the episode.
Listen,
And
Rita took notes this week.
I had to
too.
look at their numbers. I actually rewound and said, which number is which? Because on the preview for next week, they said it's either 6 or 65. And the two
Jason
numbers that those
65.
equated to were Jason and Raven.
Yep.
So
No.
Yeah.
if they're on that track, then it'll be Jason and Raven going
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
And
That's
if
exactly
if
it.
Darnell ends up in the final four, they win.
That
I
actually
can't wait
ruined-
to come up with numbers in a future game.
This is ruining my life.
Mine are not gonna be done,
You're never gonna be
so
able to
you
do
know.
that shit again. You're never gonna be able to do that.
Why? I could still say 65 and it could mean something totally different the next time.
No,
around.
it just means Jason.
It just means bullshit. Oh my God.
That's right.
Exactly. Bullshit,
Use
Jason.
conversation.
I
Like,
called
you're like,
65
oh,
on you.
I went to this softball game today, and this player was wearing 65. You can't just be like 65. Like what? Like out of nowhere. Like
I
what are you doing?
Fan
It's
Guy.
true. It's
Anthony,
true.
65. Like,
That
call him
number
out
is
about it
tainted
too.
now. If you're watching this podcast, it's tainted. You can't use 65.
I saw the license plate number. It was 6 C 6.
Any quick last minute predictions?
Well, by the preview that fan guy just said, I guess the Traitors win this game. Because that would be crazy.
Yeah, Traitors.
What, Aspen?
I said the Traitors finna win.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I feel like Dart might actually pull out a win here now for some reason. There's no like
Low key rooting for Dar.
I
Yeah.
am too. I think he played the most like random way, and like it's fitting for this season where people like Mike and Elle are like over gaming it, and it's not working. So
If he
someone
can
like
take
Dar-
Elle out on his way to the final and win without her,
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Actually, you just sparked something in me. So Dar, Anthony, Lori, Elle, final four. Dar turns on Elle. Elle goes away, and they all end the game, and Dar wins. That's my actual prediction.
beautiful.
That actually makes the most sense in my
Come
head
on,
right now.
Dar. We're rooting
This
for
is going
you.
to come down to Raven and the rabbit hole. And if she can get it's all in Raven's hands now. If she
She's
can
stuck in the rabbit
if
hole.
she could somehow articulate the rabbit hole to someone
You
who's going to
just gotta
listen.
call to the spirits.
That's it. That's it.
You better burn that Palo Santos. You need to get her some sage. You need to get her.
Read some more tea
You need to
leaves.
do a lot.
Well,
Smoke
on
some-
that, I guess we will end this week's podcast with the big finale next week. Hopefully, y'all be back to discuss these people.
Yeah.
We'll be here.
All right. Until next time.